All right, we do it live.
Are we live?
We're always live. And welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, to the first annual Miyazaki shits.
Did he shit this one though?
Do what?
Did he shit this one though?
No. This fucking movie was awesome, dude. Um, this movie actually, it's funny. It actually, what do you say? I don't know. It's old movies, man. Old movies are fucking good. They're nice because they're just fun and easy to watch. Um,
Right.
I don't know. Like, well, before I guess we dive in, for anyone who's unfamiliar, or doesn't know, I guess because we didn't really tell you. Um, we're doing a next season, I guess we're gonna call it. Next season is all Miyazaki. Everyone knows, Spirited Away, whatever, things like that. Howl's Moving Castle. We're gonna pretty much go in chronological order. Just dive through, his works. I mean, the man's pretty fucking good, so I think it's worth checking his stuff out. Not all of the Ghibli films, by the way, which is why Lupin's in here. It's just his work specifically.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so diving into this shit, yeah, fucking old movies are nice, man. But it's interesting. I don't know if it's better or worse because I was able to watch this movie and just enjoy it. Like even when there was tension, the fucker was about to fall and die.
It
It
was
was
just fun.
still fun. It was dramatic and interesting and compelling, but it wasn't so I don't know heavy. I guess would be the word. I think about like modern day action films
Mm.
because this would be like an action film. They're so dramatic. It almost seems like everything they do, everything they say, every scene is like just dripping with drama. Where even the dramatic scenes in this one were still lighthearted and fun. Not always fun, I guess, but it just didn't have that same weight to it. But I have to wonder if this is also why so many people just like hate animation. Because, if you look at maybe some like traditional film, then it's probably a little bit more dramatic. I don't know what it is about the animation that keeps it more like lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
But and then maybe it was only for kids, right? Maybe, but I mean, they're smoking and shooting and doing all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if it was
I,
specifically
I don't think Lupin is made for kids, but also in Japan, the rules around showing people smoking and drinking wasn't like as what's it called censored back in the day.
right.
So
I mean, it
even
makes
now,
sense to me,
what's it, Sanji fucking smokes. Uh,
right? So, and I think it shouldn't be, I guess so taboo, right? Because there was nothing so perverse in this movie that like anybody couldn't watch. I feel like, um,
I don't
maybe
know.
like a 3-year-old.
Lupin turned the charm on a 9-year-old.
That
He
shit was funny though. He said, "Yeah, I tried the charm, but she didn't get it. She was too young, so I didn't have any other way out." That shit was funny. Stupid
Yeah, I don't
fucker.
know if it's actually Lupin or if it's Lupin. I've always heard it Lupin, but
I always said Lupin, but
yeah, I've
that's just how
always
I
heard
read
it
it.
as yeah.
Um, but yeah, no,
Probably
this
have looked up
fucker's
that.
funny, dude. But yeah, it's interesting to think like, um, who was it made for, right? And what kind of themes and stuff are they going for? Shit like that,
Good for me.
right? I liked it. It was fun. But what do you call it? Was this an existing series or was this the first?
This is not the first, no.
Okay, so he just kind of was given source material and said, "Hey, go have fun."
Uh, Lupin the Third's all like episodic stuff. So it's a show. It has a bunch of different seasons, but none of it's like actually like cohesive. It's just him on different adventures.
Right,
Yeah, there's a lot. There's recurring characters like the investigator, the his two buddies, um,
right. I love the
the
investigator, dude.
the blonde lady. They're all recurring characters.
Right. Okay, because I was thinking, I figured that as much because they didn't see much of Miyazaki, air quotes, in this one. Um,
Mm.
a lot of his stuff that it seems like his films are known for. But then again, I assume he maybe didn't write this, or if he wrote it, he was given strict guidelines. So it was a little bit more, I guess, less of his creative freedom showing. But also the way that it was directed was really good. A lot of the shots were really good. Um, I guess it showed that he had talent. I guess,
Yeah.
which is funny to think about. Like, I wonder if this was just like, we'll give this guy a chance. Whatever, he might be okay. Just he can't
Well,
fuck it up.
well, I mean, you usually work up that way. That you start off as like a just an artist, and then you become a screen whatever director, whatever I don't remember. There's a bunch of different positions before you get a director spot. So
Right. So I'm wondering if he was just an artist before, or if he had written anything. Was he cleaning the bathrooms? You know.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
um, funny, but yeah, I mean, it works out. That was great. Just given how like solid this movie was, that he's able to get more chances. And I wonder, I'd have to let's probably start looking, I guess, maybe next time on which ones he actually wrote, which ones he just
Uh,
directed, which ones he drew. Because I knew he drew all of Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle, um, and directed them. So I don't know if he
I don't
like
remember.
wrote them
I think
too.
House Moving Castle was a book before it was a Ghibli movie.
Was it?
I could be wrong,
Okay. I mean, it
but
makes sense, right? If there's good stuff, and so much stuff is like already existed, but people just kind of adapt it.
right.
Um, but let's see. We'll take it from the top. Um,
Yeah.
not much to get into, but I mean, a
You like
little
that
bit.
pink punch buggy? Or not pink, it was a yellow.
Right, right. Nah, it was kind of nice, dude. I'm like, he put the fucking like the back and had like the rocket boosters. That shit was funny. Didn't
Yeah.
see that coming. Um, but yeah, the first 5 seconds were already exciting, which is cool. Um, but
Yeah,
they're
it's
kind of
one
like
of the
they
first movies. It is the first movie is Secret hold on. The Secret of something. But anyway, it's not important. Yeah, there's a
okay,
bunch of movies, several Lupin movies.
right. So it's kind of an easy thing to adapt.
This is like the second or third. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the first 5 seconds were exciting, so they did a really good job of like getting me in.
Yeah.
But then like the intro played after, which was really cool because it kind of showed like a, how do you say, like a softness. So it's like don't
Yeah.
get ready for it all to be just crazy antics. It's like let me get you real quick with the hook, and then the intro kind of plays. You show them like traveling and sitting on top of the car, just trying to make shit happen. And I was like, huh. So these are real people with like things. It's not just a goofy comedy in a way. It kind of helped ground it a little bit. Which was nice, and the shot selection there was really good, really dramatic, I guess. Let's see. Dude, this fucker's so stupid. They're driving. He said, "How'd you find out about this place?" Well, at first I had to find out where the money couldn't have came from. Purely a process of elimination. So you eliminated every country in the entire world. Oh, that shit was funny. So it was a really cool way to get introduced to the character because I've never seen this shit before. I've seen like commercials or maybe small pieces on TV when I was a kid, but never like fully engaged with it. So really funny way to introduce his character. The animations in the beginning, that's actually something I do want to touch on too. The animations in the beginning, I wonder if you see old style films and stuff do this. I think it seemed like all the stuff that would break off the car and things that were happening were extremely exaggerated.
Yeah.
Even the way that people walked and stood, like when he was walking up, the partner was walking up to him when they were sitting on the balcony or the little bench when he said, "You know something, you're gonna tell me." Um, Even his little mannerisms and like shit when he was walking up, it was all silent, but the animations themselves were very like exaggerated, and I wonder if
Yeah.
that was on purpose because older shit seems to do that,
Yeah, it's exaggerated for character.
right? Well, I wonder too if it was just to show off, right? Because like when like the bumper would flip off the car or something, it seemed like it would or not the hood because the hood I remember specifically
Yeah.
flipped up. It did like a backflip, hit him
Yeah.
in the face, did some more exaggerated movements, and then flew off
Right.
to the back. Like it seemed like
Partially to show off, but it's to be like, look at all this animation.
right.
So
That's what I'm thinking
and the
because it was a big deal
details.
back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
And also, it
nowadays,
is in Japan. It is pronounced with Lupin.
ah,
Yeah.
I see. So yeah, but I feel like that's something that's interesting to see old stuff, how much they express with shit like that, versus now everyone knows you can do animation. So like a bumper flying off a car or a hood or whatever, it's not gonna matter. It's just gonna kind of fall off and go back in the distance, almost like it would in real life. But it seems like they over exaggerate some of these just to show off, like, yeah, look, this is a big deal. And I wonder if it's a similar thing with when I think like old black and white films and shit like that. A lot of their mannerisms and the way that they moved and stood and did stuff seemed to be very like dramatized, I guess, or they drew attention to them in a way. And I wonder if that's just because it was the newest thing, and that's kind of what you were showing off, or that's all you had to work with, I guess.
Hmm.
Because then I wonder like where do we go as it advances, right? If certain things would take a back seat because they're commonplace or whatever it might be, right? the things that used to be exciting or whatever that people would show off or express, it's not as not as important. And I wonder if that's some of the things that people lose in the quality of
Hmm.
filmmaking. And like, because there's abstract shit people talk about constantly of like, oh yeah, new films, all the new films suck, all the new films suck, blah 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 blah. And I wonder if it's because there's these little details that go unnoticed or unneeded now that used to add to sort of a personification of a film. Like I think
Hmm.
special effects is a big one. Like all the old special effects, they fucking put their heart and soul into that shit because it had to be real. Every movement had to be precise. Everything, especially if you're on a budget, you had to do the best with what you could. So it added a lot of flavor on how they use those tools to express it. Versus now, you don't have to put any thought into it. Well, it's fine. We'll just put some CG or we'll just put some something. Like we have technology so advanced.
Yeah, but CG still takes effort, and people do work hard to put CG into things.
Yeah, I guess I'm not taking away the credit of like putting it in there. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's so commonplace. You don't have to like think about it. You know it's possible, so it's like yeah, whatever. So
Okay.
it's not going to be something as important, I guess, in a way. Almost like and not like the big detailed ones, not like the super, how do you say, like interesting, amazing shit, like the shit that they have to work on for years, like the fucking huge battles in the Avengers or some shit like that. Not something like that. I'm thinking more basic level stuff, the little quips and quirks and things that happen. Um, it's just attention to detail. I think is the shit that I'm getting at.
Okay.
That some of the attention to detail may be lost because you don't
Hmm.
have to attend to detail in a way. Um, I almost think of like programming languages and shit, right? If you're programming something back in the day, every single tiniest detail had to be done by hand. So like no pixel was pretty much made without you being involved in it.
Right.
Nowadays it's like, oh, just use this thing. It just does it for you. We don't have to worry about spending all of our manpower into making the animation for the hood fly over his head. That's just going to be done automatically. Like that shit's just going to be taken care of. And that's the kind of shit that I'm thinking is that there's shortcuts that we've developed because of technology, because these things are no longer impressive. It may have been impressive in the late 70s of like
Hmm.
the animation of the car falling apart, but now no one gives a shit.
Right.
Anybody can do that. Um, so if they can save time, I think it makes sense that you save time by cutting corners on that. Um, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was just a big thing I noticed is that stuff like that seems to. I noticed it more. I guess that's how I can only put it. Like I don't notice that shit. I've never. When's the last time I watched like a modern anime? I was like talking about the way that the animations looked when the car got pulled apart. I just don't think about it. Like shit like that just doesn't seem to happen.
Hmm.
So I thought it was interesting that like it stood out to me, but not super important. Back to like the characters and shit. Just a fucking little belt buckle crank he had.
Yeah. Don't worry. The fucking snaps.
Oh my god, dude, that shit was great. All the characters were fucking awesome, dude. We didn't get much, but it doesn't take much somehow. Like the fucking partner, he was great. Um, the cool samurai had like 3 lines in the whole movie. Fucking awesome. Feel like I've known him for years.
Right.
Um, yeah, everybody was so
Maverick,
bursting,
Zoro and Usopp and Luffy. What are you talking about?
bro. Damn near right. And it's funny. Did you actually see the he ate food to get strength? I said, what is this, One Piece?
Right.
It's funny how some of those tropes, how far they go back, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
this is shit late 70s. I'm wondering even how.
Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm just playing. Um,
Right, though. I'm wondering, right? Even how far fucking back in like the wives'
I
tales, or
mean,
not
it's
wives'
just,
tales, but like,
get your kids to eat their foods, man. You gotta eat your food.
right?
Good for you.
Um,
Keeps you strong and healthy.
so I thought that was pretty cool. Also, you see the Pirates of the Caribbean scene they had in the clock tower?
Yeah.
I said, hey, pirates, they did it first, you little shit. Because I've heard people discuss that scene and they're talking about how great it was and the choreography and everything. I'm like, maybe it was this revolutionary scene I never knew about. Because obviously it was exciting. And it was real people too, so I didn't think about that. This is just animation.
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to say it's a little different.
right. So there is definitely a lot more work that goes into it, but I did think it was cool that the scene existed somewhere else before. Not one to one, but close enough. Fighting on moving things. I
Right.
thought that was pretty cool. But
I was say I think fighting on moving things is a staple for like if you're gonna try to show off in an animation. That's nah. There
that
you
makes
go.
sense. Yeah, I didn't think about that. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Um, let's
'Cause
see.
I'm pretty sure we'll see that a lot in Ghibli movies, but I'm not entirely sure. Can't think
Right.
of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, a lot of stuff I know Ghibli movies is always what do you say? Because I've seen some talks about them and things like that, and based on all the ones I've watched, it all kind of checks out. It's always something to do with nature. Usually there's a female lead, and there's some sort of growing into something, whether it's growing into your feelings or dealing with moving, or there's always these weird subtext of like some sort of growth, and
Yeah,
then nature bits and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see how much of that carries over into like through the progression of his films, because like
yeah.
that's why it's funny
Miyazaki
to
fucking
see.
hates technology.
Huh?
Uh, Miyazaki hates technology.
Right. Well, that's what it seems, right? Some of his themes in his movies.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering, like, if we watch this, then the second, third, fourth, let's see how much of his identity, we'll call it, kind of, comes out over time. It'd be interesting to see some of that.
yeah. He hates CG, um, digital movies. Uh,
Right. It's funny. I've seen a
he's one
thing.
of
He does the storyboard like twice for
yeah,
all of his fucking films. He does each one individually, roughed, and then does it again.
yeah.
Jesus, the man's a workaholic. But hey, it's good quality stuff though. So I mean,
Right.
and it's
It's
the kind
art.
of it's funny because it's the exact same shit I was talking about in this movie. It's those attention to details. It's those little things that they go unnoticed in sometimes modern media that he prides himself in that makes the quality and makes the cut. There's a lot of Japanese shit like that though. I seen a fucking crazy video about these Japanese pants. They're like
Hmm.
the most expensive pants in the world, or maybe not the most expensive, but they're like handmade and there's a special dye they have to have, like a violet dye. Just crazy stuff. And I was like, huh. And then there's another one, a guy makes brushes. It's like a guy he makes like a calligraphy brushes. He like hand picks every single strand of hair that
Yeah.
comes in it. Like Jesus Christ. And you would think though, like oh, that's just too much or that kind of shit doesn't matter. But apparently even the people who use them know and like the quality is noticeably different. Now you could probably argue they're all just a bunch of pretentious artists, so they're gonna pay for it and if whatever seeing is believing or whatever you say, placebo effect.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that these enough people are buying them that there is a noticeable difference, which makes it interesting to see. Maybe one day I'll do that. We'll get like a direct compare and contrast of like this is modern film, this is old film, and try and find one that's like close enough in story or whatever, and then look at the animation specifically and see if there are details that get left out in modern animation that make it better or worse or whatever. Um. Anyway, all the characters in this movie are fucking awesome. Like, cause I was thinking about the mustache. As soon as I saw the butler, I said, "That look at
Yeah.
that butler's mustache. That's a bad guy, dude." Um, and then
The
how they
hunchback.
introduce the Duke. He steps on that guy's back when he gets out of the
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. It doesn't take much, man. And it's so interesting how they can fuck up characters in modern day movies and have like 30 minutes to introduce them. So I don't. But also, these are animated characters. That fucker has literally the pointy mustache and the bags under his eyes and looks like a villain.
Right.
I don't know if humans can be as personified like that because we look normal, you know.
I don't
Um,
know. I've seen some people with like look like that.
maybe. Like I think
Me.
about the cigarette with the beard, the fucking the sidekick.
The pointy beard.
Yeah, I think about that shit, right? Just the way he sits in his chair, the way his like whole body is curved, and then
Yeah.
his beard is curved, and his cigarette's
Yeah.
always bent in that funny way. He
Yeah.
always has this like curved, like slick look in a way, even like with his way his body contorts and everything. And you can't really get that in regular film. So I wonder how you introduce a character like that quickly and personify them so well. Because these are also, I don't want to call them tropes, but in a way, we see a character and say, oh, look, they have these three things about them. That gives me enough information because I've watched enough media to know.
Right.
Um, but then where does it come from, right? Who was the first guy to have, a slouched look and a curved shit in his animations and like have the beard and everything, and that we would know, oh, he's that kind of guy. He's smooth talking. He's
We have to go further back, I guess.
right, because like, it's like when you look at a guy like that, immediately I knew. I said, okay, he's cool. He's probably tough, but doesn't talk very much. He's a good guy. He's non-confrontational, but he'll bust some ass if he has to. And he's kind of lazy with a slick sense of humor. I knew all of that within like the first, fuck, I don't know, 30 seconds when they were just driving on the highway.
Yeah.
So I knew all that fucking instantly. But you can introduce a character in like a regular movie, give him the same hat, even the same outfit, sitting in a car, and I don't know if any of that would come off. And I don't know what they do to do that, right?
I'm sure there's something in filming that they do for that.
Right. We'll have
Um,
to find it because I
I didn't
it's
think about it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure I can. If we see it one day, we'll be like, ah, that's how you do that character.
right,
Um,
right. Yeah, that makes sense. And we'll come back to it if I remember. One thing that's funny too about stuff like that is it is interesting. Animation seems it's the only shit that I have that I know does certain stuff because it reminded me we were talking about this. It reminded me of I watched a thing from a Disney animator or Pixar. Same shit. Don't at
it's
me.
not. It's not.
I know that was the whole point.
And
Uh, but the he was talking about certain things they do every movie within the first 5 minutes to get you hooked. And I was like,
yeah,
huh. And I actually skipped that bit because I didn't want to know. I was like, don't do it. Because he actually had like it was like one of those little documentaries or interviews they do, and he said, be
yeah,
careful. He said, you might ruin some of your movies if you hear this. I said, I need to know, but I probably already know, but I don't want to admit it because I already ruined some shit taking video production. Like any
yeah,
movie I would see that I all like you go into the convenience store and they were all perfectly blocked and stocked across all the aisles. I said, motherfucker, it ruins my immersion. That's a set. um, and just little things behind the scenes you start to notice the more you're involved in it, kind of make
yeah,
it less as exciting. So I tend to avoid them. But one of the things I did think he was talking about that I could already tell was they introduce a an animal companion. That's like easily number one.
yeah,
They show you like some loss or like not loss, but like a some sort of thing that they're obsessed with, or like they have like a ritual they do. So it shows them doing the ritual in the first 5 minutes. So then when that
yeah.
ritual is broken, it's like, oh no, things are changing, things are happening.
Right.
Um, little shit like that. So it's interesting to see that that is also animated. I'd like to hear what, I guess was it real life film? I don't know what you call it, traditional film. I wonder what their techniques are. If there's things that we could notice for specifically personifying characters, because sometimes I don't know, even sometimes, I'd say half the time, it's a good 50-50 that in the first 20 minutes the characters are not going to be well personified or they're going to be still, I'm still learning about them or I don't really understand them. And I'm like, how the fuck does it take them so long? But an animated movie can do it in seconds. I knew everything I needed to know about Wally in the first 3 minutes.
Right.
I knew he was like a caring guy. He's timid. He has a job to do. Like I knew his responsibility. All this shit. I knew how he lived. I knew like everything, damn near about this character I needed to know. Um,
I'd say I'd say no, that film can do it very easily. It's just the modern film is doing it terribly. Because remember, think about like Back to the Future. At the very
right.
beginning of Back to the Future, like you see all the fucking weird, wacky inventions and the shit that Doc has going on in his house. They'll let you know
True.
everything about Doc at the very beginning of that movie.
True. I knew all about Marty immediately.
Right.
Just from the shit, his interaction with those dickheads. I think it was
Right.
it them? I think it was interacted with them. Yeah. Um, so now you're right. It was because they gave me a quick, easy, boom, 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 kind of shit. I wonder where because that's another old movie though. I wonder, you know.
It's that
Tell
like a
me.
lot of movies today are trying to be super deep, whereas those movies are just trying to tell a good story. You get the characters right away. You understand them immediately. Um,
No, that makes sense. It's the same thing I mentioned at the start of this, actually, how this movie was always fun, even when it had tension. It felt lighthearted, whereas modern day movies are very dramatic every single bit, right?
yeah,
So if you have a character in the first 10 minutes who does, like, let's say 15 different things, because that's usually how you do it. You show them at work, you show them at home, you show them with your friends, or with their friends. And then you show some sort of routine, and then that's it. And then you move on. And then that gives us everything we have to know about their social life, their personal life, their dreams, their desires. Usually you have them laying in bed looking at a poster of Michael Jordan. Oh, he likes basketball. So it's like easy to kind of get characters off the ground. But again, modern day film, that's not dramatic enough, right? They have to be this super deep, complex character who has all this shit going on and you can't even know about them and they have to
right.
grow
You
throughout the
gotta,
whole
yeah,
movie. That is one thing that the dynamic character has been overused, I feel like. And that's something that you know, sucks. Yeah, you can have characters grow, that's sure. But sometimes it's fun. Lupin didn't change at all. None of the characters in this movie at all, none of them changed. Not one.
right.
And it was fun. Watching all their interactions was fun. So it's like they don't need to do that to be a good film. But then again, I'm not gonna classify this film as like a work of art.
I would.
In the same way that I would classify something like I don't fucking know.
I
Pick
wouldn't call it a
something.
masterpiece, but I'd say it's fucking great.
Well, that's what I
I
mean. I
think.
guess masterpiece is the word, not work of art, because it is a really good movie and really well done.
Right.
So maybe it is a work of art. It's just not. Yeah, the characters themselves, I guess, is what I'm focusing on as well. I don't feel like I'm gonna have this great revelation of like that's the most well done character in drama and all this shit. Like with the princess, she's I love you so much. You met him twice. But it was enough. I was like, yeah, it's cool. I'm down with it. Um, so I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head too. That's like so much or like really good character drama type shit. But I don't know. I don't like many dramas. I mean, I like dramas, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Dark Knight. There you go. Easy. There's your favorite.
I didn't even do it.
We got to do Dark Knight once per episode, so I'll give it to you early.
Well, you already mentioned Howl's Moving Castle, so that's already only 1 degree away from Dark Knight. Christian Bale voices.
Oh Jesus. But yeah, no. Think about like the relationship with the Joker and Batman, right?
Yeah.
We could sit here for hours and dissect all of their little things and talk about how this drama is so amazing, and then what's her name too, Harvey's girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
And we could go into this huge, deep dive philosophically and all this bullshit. You're not gonna do that with Lupin and the Inspector, like. But I love their relationship. It almost reminded me of Batman and Joker in a way, because he's trying to get him. Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say?
It reminds me of Luffy and Smoker.
Yeah, that too. Another good one. But yeah, he's trying to get him, but they're having fun. Yeah, it's a lot more lighthearted, I guess. When I say it reminded me of it, there's definitely the Joker and them are a lot darker.
Right.
But it's the ability to like chase after
I
someone.
fucking love that part at the end where he's like, oh, look, what do we find here? A bunch of printing presses. What are they printing?
I love it. Is this money? Oh no! Stupid fucker, dude. I was looking for the wolf, but I found this by accident, even though the case was closed. What am I gonna do? Stupid fuck. I love him, dude. I love that character. As soon as he showed up, I said, "Oh baby." Well, there's another one.
I haven't watched Lupin since I was a kid.
Right.
And I thought I hated the Inspector, but as an adult, I fucking love the Inspector.
Yeah, dude. He's fucking awesome. And I actually have in my notes about the Inspector. It's funny, we were just talking about introduction to characters. In the first, 3 seconds he showed up, I said, oh, there he is. He's a badass detective. He had the trench coat, the chin, the hat. And I wonder, too, how tropey it is. But it works. Like, you can already tell just how just shit like that goes. Like, certain characters like that, so it's funny, though. But yeah, he's awesome. Stupid fucker, man. What else? He had just lines. I have a bunch of his lines in my notes, just funny shit. But let's see. Characters are fucking great. Did you see that nasty Duke? He ate only the yellow out of the egg. Ooh.
Yeah.
just ugh. I like eggs, but damn, that was a little rough.
Looks a little. Yeah. It wasn't hard boiled. That egg was
soft boiled for sure.
Yeah.
Oof.
I don't know. I like. I don't know. I eat that.
Oof. I mean, I eat like over medium, so there is the runny yolk on like a sandwich. I like that. I'll do that. But it just feels weird to like cut the top off an egg and slurp out the half done yolk in the middle. Ooh.
Oof.
It just seems weird, but it tastes fine. Put a little pepper on it, a little salt.
Yeah.
But let's see. So the setup, all the setup was good. The setup was super interesting. And they did a really good job too at setting up the fake ring.
Yeah.
You kind of knew, like I watched him do. I said he's doing something there. He's fucking with that ring or something, but I couldn't really tell.
Nah, he duped me.
Right, because it was so like quick and like not really a part of the shot, but it happened. And then later on, it comes back. I said, "Wait a minute, that's a fake ring. That's what that motherfucker was doing in that hotel room." It was cool. It was exciting because it didn't. How do you say? It was obvious, but it also wasn't.
It was in your face, but it wasn't like shoved in your face.
Right, because think about like a modern movie. If they were to do that scene, I feel like what they're gonna do is show them by themselves at a desk with the ring, looking at blueprints and soldering some shit. And that's the only focus of the scene.
Maybe, but I feel like they would either do that or they would just not show you a scene at all of him making it, and then just come out with out of nowhere, be like, "Yeah, I made that ring," or they'll like cut to a flashback of him making the ring or something.
Right,
like that.
Stupid. And I guess I say stupid. Maybe it was cool the first time it happened, But that seems to be, yeah, the trope all the time, especially the one you do in the second one you mentioned. That's
Like, yeah,
more likely.
they would either make you excited like, about the fake ring, like, oh man, he's gonna get him, or they'll fucking keep it from you, and so they can surprise you with he made a fake ring. Whoa.
Right? And then it always cuts to the flashback because they have to show you,
Right.
which wastes time in the movie. Like, you're in the moment, you're in the action. The flashback cuts away, even if it's only 30 seconds. It's still like, you know, kind of do. I don't know. It's worked sometimes though, because I will say I like in a certain films when like they're
Uh-huh.
did they do? I don't know if they did the Italian job, but I guess whatever. They're going to rob a bank or something, and then something happens, and it's like, oh, don't worry, I took care of that. Like, wait, you did? Then we get like a little flashback of them fucking with something behind the scenes, and it's like, oh shit, he planned for this the whole time. It can make it cool because you didn't really, even if you don't even know that was a problem to begin with, I guess. It's
Right.
like, oh, I already cut the laser wire or whatever. It's like, I didn't even know there was going to be laser wire. So it's like double the excitement in the moment because first you find out a problem you would have never known about, and then you have a solution you also never knew about. So it like adds this huge excitement all wrapped up into a little thing, and then you can move on from it very quickly because they introduce the problem, introduce the solution, get you super excited, and then move on to the rest of the movie quickly.
Yes.
But I think The Ring in this case, or something like this in a modern film, if they were just to do it out of nowhere, it's like, what? When did he do? That's the bigger one because the question is going to be, when did he do that? When did he have
Right.
time to do that? It was like, well, probably this, and we have to make mental jumps to say, well, maybe he did it here. Well, what equipment did he have? I don't fucking know. And then it seems a little bit, anti-immersive. And then if you show too much of it, it's like, cool, we get it. It's gonna be a fake. So it was the perfect balance. It was like, yeah, if you're, paying attention to what he was doing in that room, you'd know the ring was probably gonna be a fake. But if you were just
Right.
watching those two talk, and that's what you were paying attention to, you would be kind of shocked, but you say, "Oh wait, he was doing something in that room." Just subtle enough, give people a little bit of both. I think that's a better way to handle it than either showing everything or nothing.
Hmm.
But who knows? It's a weird thing, but it's almost like how do you say it? Filmmaking has become so refined, I guess, because now we have like what do you say? Like we have too much information, I guess, too much studies, just too much
Too many
shit.
people are too media literate, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Well, not the people. I'm thinking the writers. Because I think the people on average can just enjoy something, whatever. They'll be fine. But it's the writers themselves who have looked at, like, it was like when Game
Oh,
of
they're
Thrones
trying to
happened, right?
outdo another writer, is what you're saying. They're trying to like catch them off guard. I don't know.
Well, it was like when Game of Thrones killed somebody and they subverted your expectations, right?
Yeah.
And then every single person had to kill everyone all the time because they said, no, look, if we can refine this, we can perfect it and always do it all the time because this is the best way to do it.
Right.
And it's like, no, there's no perfection or refinement. It's like people are refining out the fun. They're refining out the nuance, refining out the details because the first time it happens, sure, I imagine the first time somebody did something that we never saw happen before and they gave a flashback to it, it may have been really exciting, like over the top, we never heard about this before. I would even argue maybe it was more exciting than showing a piece of it earlier in the movie because it came completely out of nowhere and blindsided people. But
Right.
when that's not how do you say that's not correct. If just because it's more in the moment for that movie and that film at that time, it's more exciting than the traditional that what's been done before, does not mean it's correct or refined or the only way to do it or that the previous ways were worse. And that
Hmm.
seems to be how we trend. A movie does something right, and then boom, everything else has to completely squeeze all of the juice out of the lemon to make sure every movie's just like that all the time.
Yeah.
And that sucks. We've mentioned it before, actually, why we can't have like C-list comedies or B-list comedies anymore, or even certain movies because they're so expensive nowadays. People don't want to put the money in, or they want to make sure they're getting the next blockbuster. Everyone wants to be Marvel now, right?
Right.
So
Well,
we've talked about this
yeah.
before.
I was gonna say that they don't have to spend as much money. They don't have to spend Marvel money on that shit, but they want that. They want that fucking uh almost $1 billion. They want the $800 million fucking payout.
Right. And it's tough because then we don't get characters like Lupin anymore. We have to get this super serious, well developed with a crazy backstory. Like if he was made nowadays by some modern filmmaker, they'd probably have to give him like his relationship with his mom and his turmoil growing up, and then his dad has to actually be, the bad guy of the movie or something like just all this shit, like fucking soap opera levels of drama all the time. And it's like, nah, it can be fun, and I don't think anybody's gonna leave talking about it for the rest of their lives, but they're gonna have a good time. And that's the average viewer, I think, because even people who go watch movies, they don't think critically like they do. There's so many people who would watch a movie and not even understand the gravity of like the relationship between the two people, right? Like
Hmm.
how many people really fucking truly grasped the relationship between fucking Joker and Batman and all the shit that happened and all the tiny details between Harvey Dent's character? No. They got the big picture and they had fun with the movie, I would argue. Most
Hmm.
people anyway. So even though it's there, it's not necessary for most viewers. So and I think that's okay, to make a movie where it's more surface level and have fun with it. But I don't know. I don't know how box office works. I don't know how money works. I'm not sure how much money these, B-list movies are raking in or these non-blockbuster movies are raking in. I don't know. A lot of it's media and marketing though. Because there's movies
That's
that
how
blow the
good
box
the
office
movie
out of the
is
water and
usually.
huh?
It really just depends on how funny the movie is. If it's a comedy or whatever.
Right. You think it would sell this movie in modern day?
Yeah, I think they're still coming out with Lupin movies. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. I'd like to see it in person. I think it'd be fun.
Like in theaters?
Yeah, like a real life movie, like a human acted.
Oh. Hmm.
I think it could work. It'd be a fresh take too, because every single like thief movie we get now has been living off of shit like Ocean 11 and fucking Italian Job and all these like super serious shit.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see a movie like this for fun.
There's a fun one. Something Heist that came out 2010s, I think. That
Hmm,
was actually really funny. And it was a comedy about like four people robbing or something.
that'd be
Doing
cool.
a big yeah.
They made
It's
one about women, didn't they? Like the four women who were gonna rob something. I think I saw a commercial for it anyway. Um,
I think I know what you're talking about. And
it looked good. At least the actors looked good. The lineup seemed fun. It was like some old lady's gonna go do some big crime. Like three or four of them, old ladies, maybe 50, but 45. I don't know. But then maybe I'd watch that one. But yeah, I think it'd be. I don't know if it would work. Right, that's the bigger issue. Like I don't know. What do people watch? I would argue people watch anything, but they have to be told to watch it in a way.
right.
Because if you asked anybody like making film, right, in American film and like American culture and shit like that, oh, we have this idea. We're gonna call it Squid Game, right? And it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. We're gonna put it in our box office. Fuck no, dude. Or we're gonna put it on this, streaming service. No, nobody would sign off on that shit. They would say no one's gonna watch it. It's not gonna be good. Our audience doesn't like that. And then look at that shit. It blew up on the internet and everybody had to watch it.
Well, it's funny that you said that. Because it was actually the Koreans who were telling him that no, every Korean production and studio said no, we're not signing off on that. That sounds stupid. And
Really?
it was Netflix that said yes.
No fucking way.
But Netflix is also like the company. It's a hit or miss. Netflix either comes out with complete dog shit. I take it back. Netflix is it comes out with 80% dog shit. Um, and then it comes out with fucking gold. Out of
Right. They let
nowhere.
people take risks.
And then 10% is mediocre.
Right. Now that
So
makes sense because they do have the money to allow people to take risks.
right.
And I think it pays off. I really appreciate that Netflix has a space to do that, to give all these, things. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what I mean though, is like people would tell you it's not going to work, and then all of a sudden it gets big and everybody watches it. So I don't think there's necessarily this idea of like, well, people only watch these movies because we saw the box office results from the last fiscal year and these movies sold the most, these movies didn't sell well. Therefore, people don't like these movies. That's not true. Maybe those didn't sell well, but there's so many factors that play into it, not just demographics or income. There's so much that, socially, is it popular, blah, blah, blah. Did it have good marketing? Did people even know about it? Were they busy? Was there something else that if somebody only goes to the movie once a month, was there something bigger than that month, but they would still have enjoyed it if that was there? You know, there's just so many factors to take in that I think it's weird this idea of people would or wouldn't watch it. But also there is some sentiment to that, I think if you look at the landscape of like let's say 1980s filmmaking or 1990s, you wouldn't get away with some of like the, you know, anime movies is a big one that's too low hanging fruit. I'm thinking more like even comic book movies, right? Nobody's gonna watch that shit because they were all like, grown regular people who read the newspaper and, had went to work every day or whatever, and housewives. They wouldn't watch a comic book movie. It has no interest. It's only for children, right?
Right.
So if they were going to go see a film, they're going to go watch an action film with Schwarzenegger or whoever in it instead of watching a comic book movie just for their kids, since they have to make a movie decision as a family.
Right.
So I guess there used to be something like that. More so, it was more strict back in the day. But I think we live in a landscape now where fucking the sky's the limit, dude. People are open-minded enough to watch damn near anything as long as the internet tells them it's good.
Yep.
So it's interesting to think about that. Um, let's see. Did you notice the music in this movie? At least in a couple particular scenes, was really good. And I don't know if
Mm,
Miyazaki had a choice in that, but
he's the director, so I assume maybe. But I actually didn't pay attention. I a lot of times during Miyazaki movies, I do tend to listen to the music, but this one I did not really think it was. I didn't really notice it.
well, it was
In the,
absent. I would say absent, but I didn't notice it for most of the movie. But two scenes in particular were the chase scene. Midway through the music, it kind of kicked up, and I was like, "Ooh, this is exciting!" Kind of like jazz in a way. Had that
yeah,
exciting jazz thief feel, like very stereotype,
yeah,
you could probably say.
I do
But
recall that a little bit. Maybe I did
um,
point it out and I just forgot because I did watch it actually like 2 or 3 days ago. So.
right. And then at the very end of the movie, they had another scene. Like the music was pretty good when it kicked in when he was standing with her and they just found the city.
Hmm.
Um, both of those points had pretty good bits. I said, "Ooh, I like this." Well timed, especially. So yeah, good stuff. Little things there. Um, how did he miss all of those bullets on the roof when she was laying on Lupin?
It was on purpose.
Oh, to scare her?
It was a show. Yeah, it was a show of force to scare her.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, dude, that's what I figured. I said
And
it
at,
has to be
but
right.
at that point, that motherfucker's got pinpoint accuracy. That
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah.
I was like, good God, with the recoil and everything. No.
Well, he's like Chris. He can outline a person. It takes pure skill to be able to outline a person and not shoot them.
I guess. Yeah.
Um, but not. It was cool too the way it dropped off because like, and again, it's interesting. They did the whole like rise and fall that all dramas and especially really romance movies have, that little fall before the third act and the rise again. But it felt good, I guess, and it felt natural, and they didn't waste too much time dwelling on it. I think that was the bigger thing, like, because you figured, oh shit, he's fucking he got shot too. I didn't know he actually got shot.
Yeah.
Um, I figured he'd like it was a fake or something, but nah, that fucker was out. So he took a real life bullet wound, was fucking stuck. The chief went to the fucking UN and was like, hey, shit's happening, and then found out they were all corrupted, and it was like, this is fucking over. Like, what's gonna happen next? Obviously, you figured they're gonna save him, but it all just kind of felt natural. It didn't feel overblown. It didn't feel way too dramatic. And then when you see them at their lowest point, he just what's his name the cat burglar. She ended up calling him, and all he was doing was he was drunk, just sitting in his chair. That was it. And then he answered and got right back on the case. It was enough
Right.
to show you like, hey, he's down and out. He really wanted to solve this case, and then now he's back. So it gave you the fall without just pouring on the drama, right? I think a new movie would probably spend at least 10 minutes on his character at a bar, getting into a fight with somebody, stumbling into a ditch, you know, waking up passed out, his whole life's in shambles, his wife left him, like they would just add so much extra stank and so much fucking drama to it that was just unnecessary. Like I don't know. What do you think?
Um, I think so. I would say, I like all that extra drama though. So I don't know. Um,
I don't know. The drama is
depends.
good.
Sometimes it's unnecessary. Sometimes they put way too much. I don't know. Uh,
I can't think of a movie
but
recently, but
this is yeah. I was this is episodic, so they don't dive way too deep into these characters, just so that you know who they are. Then you just want to see more stories with them and such scenarios with them. So
contextually, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like this one didn't have room for the drama, but it doesn't mean the drama's bad necessarily.
All right.
Yeah, I could be falling too far into one side of the spectrum, right? Like as far as like, oh, I see this old shit and I love it. Therefore, all this dramatic new shit sucks. It's like, well, hold on there, buddy. Don't just
But
jump into one side from the other, because I do like all the drama bits. So I guess yeah, it's just it has to be put in the right place at the right time and be necessary or whatever.
yeah,
Because I think about what's her name from Superman. When she had her whole bits, when she was like sad or upset, it was like half the fucking movie. Um,
Lois.
yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't need any of that. We even talked about it. Get her the fuck out of here. Like, but they want to make it so gripping and dramatic. I was like, fuck that. Lois is here. Bring her back. She's just happy. If she was just a happy-go-lucky and came back and show her being sad, sure, but then show her come right back and bounce back quickly, or don't show her at all until it happens, or whatever. Like. But they tried to ham it up a little bit more. Same thing for what's his name? Maybe it's just poorly executed, but fuck, Cyborg. Um, when he had his little scenes, like his stuff with his dad was great. But then when
yeah.
he was not around his dad, the drama just kept permeating and he would just say shit.
He'd just be brooding all the time, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm like, dude, stop. We get the drama, but go back and be regular. Like the drama happened, it was super good and gripping. Now let's get back to the cool stuff. Um and maybe somebody would probably, I guess maybe the immediate response would be, well, that's going to be anti-immersive. How did he go from brooding to immediately just happy-go-lucky? And it's like, people do it all the time. But people don't do it all the time. They do it in animated media specifically, whether it's cartoons, anime, comic books. I think they get away with that somehow. But I don't know if a real film would get away with it as easily. I think it would. I think it's just a bunch of critic assholes that like are causing these sort of trends.
watch shows all the time that do that. It's more like realistic because the people, even though they're acting, kind of like happy-go-lucky and they're making jokes and seem like they're normal, but inside they're still hurting. They're just trying to deal with the pain, right?
Right. And then you can bring it back when it's necessary because it was always
You don't
there.
have to put it on their face all the time. People aren't that stupid to be like, oh yeah, he definitely got over him getting into an accident and uh, having the
Right.
fucking
No, I guess that makes
yeah,
sense, yeah,
his
because
body
like,
looking fucking different and shit.
right. No, because yeah, I think I've seen shit before where like, I don't know, critics or people like reviewers on YouTube and shit, they would bitch. They'd be like, oh well, so he just doesn't care anymore because of this. And I've even heard real regular people in conversation say that too. Like, so this happens and he's just out here doing this tomorrow, or she's just doing this the next day. And I'm like, shut up. Like, cause what do you want? You want the whole movie to be just a fucking annoying drama fest? Like the
Yes.
movie, it has to continue. Like the show must go on, literally. So it's like, yeah, like I think you said, it's just hide it away and have them be like normal. Because think about it, imagine someone gets in like they lose their parents and then they have to go back to work on Monday. They're probably gonna go into work and be mostly normal. At least they'll try to be. Maybe something might set them off and they have like a moment and have to go to the bathroom. But
Right.
for the most part, they're gonna try and make jokes. They're gonna try and be normal. We try to do things the best we can. I think in the moment. So yeah, a lot of this stuff, you know, you don't have to dwell on it. I think, but it seems like to get more juice out of the audience, people try and dwell on it. Writers and shit will try and dwell on it a lot more. And maybe it's necessary. Like if you're having a drama type movie, that it is necessary and it's part of the plot, then sure. But if you have like an action movie like this, it's sort of an action, maybe a little bit of suspense when they're running. Trying to correlate this to like a real film if they made it today with like live actors. You'd probably do a little bit of suspense, a little bit of action, maybe a small piece of drama, but yeah, you wouldn't need it necessarily. But oh yeah, anyway, so yeah, the inspector has that shit. I feel bad, dude. Poor inspector. He lost it all. He was gonna lose his job. It looked like he made a laughing stock in front of the UN. I was like, dude, fuck, man. I feel bad for this poor guy.
All those fuckers are bought.
Dude,
Those
I cared more about him than I did Lupin after the accident. To be completely honest, I was like, don't lose your job. You're a good man.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, so the bounce back was really good, really well timed. And I don't know. Let's see. They go do their fight, dude. Um, that fucker got chopped in half. Um, on the 12 o'clock shit when before the clock broke.
Yeah.
He truly got chopped in, and even earlier when the dude got caught in the gears, he said, "Look away."
Yeah,
Oh my god!
yeah, they got away with a lot more stuff back in the day in
I
anime.
wasn't ready for that.
You haven't seen OG Dragon Ball, right? You've only seen Dragon Ball Z.
I watched some of it, but not all of it. Like I
Oh, well,
saw his little dick
they
hanging
got
out.
away
He's
with showing
patting
topless
up.
Bulma twice in OG Dragon Ball.
Right. Um.
So they got away with a lot of stuff they can't get away with nowadays.
Right. That makes sense. Um. But yeah, I thought that was one thing I was okay because I'm not one for censorship at all. But I'd be okay if they removed the fucking the guy dying, getting ripped apart by gears, and then the dude getting chopped in half. Um.
I'll leave it in.
Because I mean, maybe the guy like dying something dramatically, falling off a cliff. Um. The end, not the first guy. The first guy, he doesn't matter. Just knock him out or something. But maybe the last guy, something happens to him because you don't have to just remove the death entirely. But I don't know. At least if it's gonna be targeted more towards kids, and I have to feel like this is definitely a kid-friendly movie. Someone's probably gonna think, "What the fuck? It's robbers and gangsters and guns and shit is not kid-friendly." But I think in a way, when I say kid-friendly, it means that your 8-year-old could watch it, have fun with it, be introduced to concepts like thieves or marriage or whatever. People who are greedy. All this shit. You can introduce them these concepts without having them be so perverse or so like what do you say, like explicit.
Right.
So I don't know. That's also one thing that you can't do in real life though. Is maybe you could. People miss all their shots. But I was thinking about some of the action, like shooting at each other.
Yeah.
It's a lot more gruesome in real life to like shoot a guy in the chest or they don't just do like a flip and go oh wow 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 and all the bullets miss and bounce off the walls. Um,
Have you seen Jackie Chan movies?
True. That is very true. Maybe they can get away with it. Yeah, they can get away with it. I'm still on board. I want my
It's just American sensibilities where we if it's in live action, it's too serious. It's always serious.
true.
We don't we can't really. That's why it's hard for us to translate animation into a live action medium because it's we don't want to do goofy in live action.
Right. I think about like Kung Fu Hustle, right? That movie's fucking awesome.
Right.
But you couldn't get
Uh,
away with it. Yeah, if you were to tell me that's a live action movie or like American sensibilities or when American style live action, I would never even think in my life. But yeah, that's pretty much an animated movie in live action. um
right.
so yeah,
Actually,
no,
fun fact: Oda said that movie was the reason why he believed that One Piece could be made in live action.
really.
Was Kung Fu Hustle? Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, it's true, right? So that was years ago, but now we have all kinds of special effects and shit like that too to even do more of like the wacky stuff.
Right.
So no, it's cool like little tidbit too. Oh, so yeah, I think it's possible. And yeah, looking at like even what do you call it? Rush Hour, right? Rush Hour does seem to have some of that wacky fun
Right.
stuff. Like actually, Rush Hour would be pretty close to like the style, the way it was acted and filmed. Could almost be like a Lupin style movie if we made one
Right.
today. And that was successful.
Get Jackie Chan to play Lupin.
I wonder if it was. Hold on. I wonder if Lupin and the partner were literally just like inspirations for Rush Hour.
They could be.
I mean, they were cops. They weren't thieves, but it's two buddies
Well,
going off. And...
it's hard to get over like, oh yeah, let's pass this movie. Yeah, they're the good guys, even though they're thieves. They're the good guys. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Right, right.
So,
So I wonder, yeah, if they just changed them. They said, "Now we can make it work. Change them to cops, so they're good guys, and then have them go do stuff and like sneak in and break." Because they were breaking into places and doing bad stuff.
also, I don't know if you know that Lupin is actually a very inspirational anime. It's like inspirational. That's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
meaning other people
Um,
took works from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Um,
didn't seem right to me, but it's yeah, yeah. It's um.
wouldn't that be the
Not the
word?
word
Because
I'm
it's
looking for.
inspired by.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot of people take a lot of stuff from Lupin and like build their own stuff with it. I think because it's so good, well known in Japan.
Right.
Um, so.
I think too. Actually, it's funny. Just thinking about Titanic. Because I think didn't Jack have a similar intro and he had like a very quick personification of his character.
Yeah, he did because he was playing poker and then he uh uh they ran off to go get on the Titanic. So the guys for whatever reason put Bet their Titanic tickets on that poker game.
right? So it reminds
Good.
me of Lupin in a way too, his introduction and
Yeah.
how quickly it's like, oh, he's funny, he's a smooth talking guy, he's a little shyster, like it's all that shit just so quick and so fun. Um, Interesting. So yeah, there's a lot of there's piecemeal. A lot of these are piecemealed from different films, but I do see a lot of stuff that would say it's possible. Um, which wasn't necessarily the focus of this conversation, but somehow it ended up being I want a live action Lupin. Slowly, I've just evolved into that's what I want.
I'm sure there exists one in China or Japan.
Right? It'd be cool. There's so much you could do with it. Anyway, let's see. But yeah, they bounced back. They went to go stop it. Um, Dude, she was fucked up. I didn't think about it. I said, what is wrong with her? She looks like a fucking like a zombie or she's brain controlled or something. Um, and then he said she's clearly on drugs. I said, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. That's why she couldn't talk.
I thought they
Um,
mentioned that they were drugging her. Like, I don't know.
did they? Maybe I missed it.
Uh, uh,
Um,
I could
that
be wrong.
fucker said silent consent. He said now that she's given her silent consent. I said, you bastard, dude. Um,
That was Lupin too.
right? Um, that shit was funny. Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, he was like hamming it up for the people. Because I was
Yeah.
like, did he really just say that in front of all these people?
Yeah, they do in fact have a Lupin the Third. Uh. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Yeah, 2014. Okay.
Cool, that's recent.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good. What do you think?
About what do I think? I haven't
Would
seen
it
it.
be good?
Ah,
I'd give it a my preemptive is like a 5 out of 10.
it's probably a 4 out of 10.
I don't expect it to be very good, but who knows? It could shock my whole expectations. Um, but yeah, last scenes are cool. Partner came in. A lot of
Generally
it's
negative among Japanese and Western film critics.
oh dang. I mean, I like the Monster Hunter movie, so
True.
it doesn't take much as long as it's just fun or exciting or whatever. Has good characters. Well, I say good characters. It was just literally the admiral. um, but
They made a spin-off film just about Jigen, the guy with the beard.
yeah,
It came out last year.
that's cool. What was the guy's name? Goemon. I said, isn't that the name of a Digimon?
Yes.
I wonder if that's like a some kind of like important name, like some historical figure or something.
Probably some samurai or something.
Right. To see it used twice, or at least across media, usually that means there's something important to it. Um, but not, dude.
Um,
The last fucking quote again. I don't.
A legendary Japanese outlaw hero who stole gold and other valuables to give to the poor. So Robin Hood,
Oh, cool.
Japanese Robin Hood.
Makes sense. That'd be his name. I mean, he doesn't give to the poor, but he's not a bad guy, right?
Exactly. He's a bad guy, but that doesn't mean he's a bad
Exactly.
guy. Famous words from Zangief.
I love it. Dude, I like the fucking the captain though. His last words. He said he came here to steal something, but he didn't take anything, didn't he? He stole your heart. She said he did. He said I'll take care of this asshole and fucking left. Oh my god, beautiful. And I think it's funny though. Yeah, thinking about American film, I would say that's never gonna work, right? You cannot put that line because it would be cheesy and stupid and unbelievable. But I love that line. So I don't know. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we do have like a predisposition to American film to be overly serious.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why I don't like most films. Or not that I don't like them. I do appreciate and enjoy American film, but oftentimes if someone recommends me an American film, I'm like, I'll get to it, or maybe I'll watch it later, because I feel uninterested automatically because I'm like, it's gonna be this. They're gonna introduce this character. He's gonna be super broody. They're gonna have some fight scenes and some action. People are gonna get shot. Things happen. Drama, drama, drama. The bad guy was secretly so and so, or he fights him on top of a fucking mountain, and they are on top of a building with a helicopter and an explosion or some shit. I'm like, I've seen it all. I think it becomes so one-dimensional is how I feel about American film. Versus I feel like, yeah, animated film, a lot of times it's so fucking wacky. You never know what you're going to get, especially Japanese animated film. It's kind of hit or miss from like some American stuff. You have the hidden
Disney
gems in
always
there.
gets me. Oh no. Not true. Um,
What always gets you?
been some. I said Disney. I was about to say there's been some misses lately. So
Right, but that's a good one, right? A good example of like, fuck, man, especially back in the golden age.
yeah.
Everything they did was fucking good. Like they couldn't miss for like 10 years straight. They were, I mean, fucking blockbusters.
Actually, it's the Renaissance era of Disney.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Was
The
wasn't the
90s.
golden age the old age
Yeah.
with like fucking not Cinderella? What's the one with the sword and stone?
That's the. I think I was in the actual dark age of Disney when they were doing mostly misses.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha. Yeah,
um,
I can't remember how they named them. The naming
the
convention.
golden age is like longer because it goes from like when they first started making movies, so like Snow White, all the way up to Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast and that stuff. Like where the original princesses are from.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the golden age or golden era of Disney. I don't
Got
remember
you.
what they labeled the silver, but then they labeled the dark age, and then that was when they started having a lot of flops, and then the Renaissance era was the 90s.
Oh,
Um,
baby. That's
when we had
peak.
that's all the Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds.
Literally peak Disney.
Um, and then and they started calling, I don't remember what they started calling the one after, but they started getting some more flops again. They called it something else. I can't remember.
Right.
Oh,
Whatever it is, yeah, that peak Disney era, dude, they can't fucking miss. But it's
right,
weird. I think it is though. It because I don't know how. Obviously, there's so many not regulations you'd call it, but behind the scenes stirrings and talkings and socially accepted tropes of like the industry
right,
that I think that modern that you just didn't have it. There was physically, literally no way possible to get the money for a big film and break outside the barrier of what the industry said. Here's what we're allowed to do. But animation was cheap. I mean, I don't know how cheap. I'm not saying it was dirt cheap, but I imagine, you're not paying for shit. You're paying for voice acting, which is probably much less than regular acting, and you need an artist or animator. So, like,
right,
they could get away with it. They said, no, we're going to do this shit. What shit? We're going to do whatever the fuck we feel like. And then also they have, like Lion King had animals in it. So you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want to personify the animals. Because,
right.
who cares? I think that the freedom to be creative is really what gives, I think, especially in Western shit, live action or sorry, animated media so much more, depth, so much more quality in most sense.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad we're
Yeah,
moving away from that.
animation comes with freedom. There's just so much more freedom to do whatever you want. So it's just it's easier to get your point across and your characters across and stuff like that. So
Right.
uh,
And especially looking at like anime, they get away with dumb shit that you can't do anywhere else. Like, I think someone was doing something and like, what was it? I'm watching One Piece. Nami said something to Usopp and he talked shit or he said something about losing some gold or whatever. And she was like, "What the fuck?" and then punched them both in the head and like her face got huge all over the screen and shit. Like, I don't know how you translate that level of over exaggeration to real life, right? Without it being weird. But then again, I think mainly of Western super serious actors, and if they were to break character and do something like that, it would feel different. Because if
yeah,
I were to think about Kung Fu Hustle and the fucking landlady would do that, which she pretty much did,
yeah.
it works. If she were to jump off a fucking balcony and say, "You said what?" Boom, boom, and then punch these fuckers in the head and leave them on the ground.
I just think of the part where the one dude's trying to throw the knife and he just kept throwing it back. It kept hitting the main guy in the arm.
Yeah, no, I think it works. Um, I do. I think it actually it's fucked. It's to think about how what do you say? How altered or what do you say? Conditioned? How conditioned like my brain is to live action film
Right.
because I grew up in a Western film media and audience. Like that was what I watched. If I watched anything, so crazy to think about that. How it kind of even makes you think differently about what you could or would watch. But let's see. I think that's all I got before I start talking about the One Piece live action and we go too far.
Right, right.
Because that was the next thought I had about how they translated stuff and how well was it and did they do some exaggerated moments and. So what do you got? Because all the moments we skipped in this movie were just fun. It was just solid. Like when he's fucking trying to swim up the thing. Just
Yo, when he's swimming up the waterfall.
yeah.
I was like, you can't. Whatever.
You know what's fucked up? I thought he would make it because that's like the anime trope. You just start
Right.
swimming really fast and make it back up. I said, he's going to make it back. And he got farther and farther. I said, you're going to have to go now. And then he didn't make it. I said, he didn't make it.
We
That shit was funny. So yeah, the movie was just awesome. All the little bits about it were just cool. I think there's not a lot to take away. What do you say, dramatically or storytelling wise, or deep dive into philosophy on human
found
nature
the
or nothing.
princess a little annoying, but I was like, maybe that's just the English voice actress.
You like the princess?
Amming up. I didn't like her voice.
I liked it, but then again, I didn't like it like I was in like with it. But I guess I didn't mind it. I was like, yeah, she sounds like a regular princess lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, she's so sad. She said, "Hello, who's there?" I said, she's just a regular like stereotype scared princess girl. Like, I guess it's because it's what I've come to expect.
Right.
So it's like in a weird way, I like it because it's like, yeah, that's what she's supposed to
Nah,
sound like.
I like my One Piece princesses like fucking Vivi and and Rebecca.
Dude, nah, fuck that. Rebecca was so annoying. God.
But you
Every
like
time-
Shirahoshi?
Shirahoshi was great. Shirahoshi was great. She was a little annoying because her voice is way too high. And there were times I was like, dude, just don't speak anymore. I can't. I can handle her in short bursts. But if she spoke too much, it was a little much.
Oh,
It was all the dub though, or the sub. I mean, so I don't know because you watched it in English, right, with Keely.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know the English Shirahoshi.
Oh god, she's annoying. I had to listen to her in Japanese, but because we didn't switch it over to Japanese, so we got to where the English dub was at, which is Big Mom, halfway through Big Mom.
Oh, so you got English Rebecca too.
Yeah.
Japanese Rebecca was fine, but she was crying all the time, and that's when it got annoying. When she would like scream and cry, I remember being like, too much.
Dude, the anime did her backstory like 8 times.
Yes.
The fucking manga only has the backstory once, and then it all those other times when it cuts to it, it doesn't. It never does in the manga.
Dude, yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. That arc is too much. It's so drawn out. I don't even want to think about it.
Well, they caught up to the manga around that time, so they had to. They had to pad that arc the worst out of all the other arcs
Right.
in the anime. So
Before we get
Finally,
lost,
they never really caught up in Wano, so it's not
Yeah.
as bad, but Wano does have some parts where I'm like, what are you doing? Please.
right? And it gets too late to change to episodic and just have it all be one big budget
Right.
shit.
Yeah. So I don't have much else with this movie. It was
No,
good. It was
I liked it.
It was solid. I enjoyed it. I had fun.
Right. I would say if it's not looking at like the deepness of it, I'd give it definitely like a lower rating. But you're not coming here for the deepness.
Right.
But as far as just fun, awesome film to watch, fuck, I'd watch it again today if someone was like, "Hey, you want to watch it?" So I'd give it an 8, 8.5. Nah, 8.5 is too much. I give it an 8, solid 8.
I give it
man.
about a 7.2. Like it's up there. Like I'd watch
Right.
it again.
It's good,
I'd watch
dude.
this again before I watch some other Marvel movies. So yeah,
Right.
maybe.
So yeah, it's fucking awesome, solid film, and just good shit all around. I guess anything else, dude?
Nah, we're gonna watch. I forgot the name of the other one next. Something Nausicaa. The
We'll be
first
on a bit of
Ghibli
a
movie.
and we might be on a bit of a hiatus in case you guys are like, well, when's the next video? I'm going on a trip. I'll be moving soon.
They won't even know because I'm throwing I'm not even caught up with the Predator. I'm on the Predator movies right now, so it'll give me some time to catch up.
Oh shit! Look at that, guys. You won't even miss a beat. I'll be back before you know it. Well, you wouldn't have known it, so I'll just
Okay.
never leave. But anyway, like and subscribe because engagement is good.
Leave an angry comment because engagement is good. I forgot my other part.
The dislike. Oh
Hit
no,
the dislike button. It doesn't keep track anymore. It doesn't matter.
bro, you ruined it. They're never gonna like us anymore.
It's okay. Leave a dislike button and an angry comment.
We're gonna.
Up again. It's
We
going
lost
to
all of
stay
our
in.
fans.
We're
dude.
keeping it in. It's staying in the video. We're authentic. All right.
And we love you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Leave a dislike button and smash the angry comment.
Smash the angry comment. You heard it here, folks.